Hello everybody, welcome back to a brand new episode of F1 23 Driver Career Mode here on the channel. I hope you're all having a great day today. We have an exciting one at Spa, the Belgian Grand Prix. A big fan of this circuit here, so excited to get on track for the action as well. A sprint weekend, so some extra points up to grabs, the third time this season. Of course, we come in to this weekend, 16 points on the board compared to my teammate of Yuki. In the next episode, we will be having a small team meeting over the summer break, as well as a teammate kind of comparison to see where we're at and whatnot here. As you can see us touching down in the Spa area now. What a beautiful area that this track is actually located in. It is such a nice venue, such a nice area here as we were ready to get racing on Friday for free practice one. Now this is going to be an interesting weekend. There is potential for rain in qualifying. There is potential for rain as well in the race. So actually I say potential for rain in the race. It is going to rain basically the whole Grand Prix from the early week weather forecast. So I was expecting to see rain all race long, either on the inters or on the wets, maybe even both tires. We'll have to wait and see. But getting my laps underway here in free practice. What excited, like I said, to get on track here in Spa here in Belgium. One of the home races for Max Verstappen. Verstappen gets a pretty cool run where he gets to go to Belgium, summer break, then he comes right back to his other home Grand Prix, of course, in the Netherlands there. So we'll have to wait and see how he is able to do and if he can win both of those Grand Prix and extend his championship battle over Sergio Perez. Red Bull is really starting to kind of come into form now and take off in the championship, in both the World Drivers' Championship as well as the Constructors. You can see myself here now. In the qualifying, pace was absolutely terrible as usual, but as I always say, take that with a grain of salt because the qualifying programs are, well, they're terrible in this game so far from what I've noticed. We actually topped the board in practice, but another thing, take that with a grain of salt. That means absolutely nothing. Here we are though, Saturday afternoon, focusing in on qualifying. Can we advance into Q2? We've had so many moments and just controversies in qualifying in our rookie season. I think qualifying has been a bit more chaotic at times than the Grand Prix this season. We start off with a lubrication system fault there, but we would quickly get back on track in no time. It was sounding like rain might be on the way as early as Q1, so I was hustling to get a lap. You see a text radio message right there on the side, Mark telling me that rain is likely coming this lap, or sorry, not this lap, but this session, so get a lap in as quickly as we can. That's what I did. I put myself between Albon and Piastri, P7 on the board, as we would get wheeled back into the paddock. My teammate of Yuki doing the same thing. He had actually just gone in front of me by almost 0.2 of a second, realistically a tenth and a half, and here you saw the rain was moving in, so basically that was going to wrap up Q1, which means we will move on to Q2. Now, Lance Stroll and a few others did try to make an attempt as this rain was moving in. They could not go faster. Lance Stroll, P19, he's out in Q1, a terrible qualifying effort. He set a rough first lap and then obviously couldn't do anything better in the rain. So him, Sargent, Magnussen, Zhou Guanyu, and Hulkenberg all out, and both the Haas cars out, which is not good for a team that should be doing better based off the R&D, and they showed up last episode, but not in this one. Here we are, kicking up Q2. We were still in conditions that were acceptable for the soft tire. So here we are in the slightly damp conditions on the soft compound. Everybody was on softs at this point, so that's why I went and, well, put softs on. You can see in the track here that it's certainly not wet yet. You can obviously tell when it's getting wet, and we weren't at that point. So setting the best lap I could. However, I ran a really bad sector 2, so I wanted to have another opportunity, but I knew the rain was going to continue falling and getting heavier and heavier. So I recharged my battery all this lap right here. I stay on track to set myself up to run another lap, which would be now underway, but unfortunately you can see the track now getting wet. We're down to P13 and P12 for myself and Tsunoda. The time's getting slower and the talent getting worse as I'm going to go around for a spin, and that's going to be it for Q2 for us because nobody's going to be able to go faster at this point as the rain continues to fall and the track gets wetter and wetter. P12, P13 for Tsunoda as well as myself. And you see Ocon, Piastri behind us, Albon, P11, Verstappen barely makes it to Q3. Now it's time for the sprint. Let's go see the starting grid.
Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting sprint. Max Verstappen put in a fantastic lap yesterday, and he'll start from pole position, edging out Sergio Perez, who lines up P2. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Leclerc, Sainz, Fernando Alonso, Hamilton, Russell, Gasly, Norris, Bottas, Albon, Tsunoda, Golden Boy, Ocon, Oscar Piastri, Hulkenberg, Joe, Magnussen, Stroll, and Logan Sargent. And with preparations almost complete, let's head trackside for today's sprint.
Oscar, not a great day in quali yesterday. What is the expectation today?
I don't even know right now, to be honest. Just try to move forward is all I can do, right?
Good luck today.
Well, there you have Oscar Piastri briefly chatting it up with Ted Kravitz in the sprint pre-race. Everybody pretty much is doing mediums the whole way, aside from Lance Stroll and his teammate Fernando Alonso. So both Astons on the softs. We're ready to roll. Let's get this formation lap underway in Belgium.
Here we go then. The formation lap is underway ahead of today's sprint. As all the cars take their positions on the grid, the final preparations have been made, and all that's left is for the drivers to deliver on track.
All right, guys, it's going to be an interesting one tomorrow, so I'm going to get whatever I can here today while it's dry.
Yep, no pressure. Get after it on lap 1 and settle in.
All right, well, we are ready to go racing for the sprint here in Spa. Just want to say thank you, as we head into the summer break in Season 1. Thank you for, well, all the support so far in this first season of this F1 23 driver career mode. I hope you guys are enjoying what makes this channel so different from other people doing career modes with AI and just way more, kind of different things I'm throwing into this series compared to the others now as I try to make things really different here. Now as we're ready to go racing, 5 red lights, and here we go. It's lights out. We're underway from the sprint here in Spa. Now the third sprint of the season, as you see a terrible start there for Valtteri Bottas down into turn 1. It decided to not be too aggressive into turn 1, just kind of get through the first corner as that's happening up front. Max Verstappen ahead right now of Charles Leclerc as well as Sergio Perez right there tucked in behind him, ready to make a move now as they head up through Radian, Eau Rouge, etc. As they continue on. Here goes Perez immediately to the left side now, and that's not quite going to work. He tucks back in for the slipstream. He pulls back to the right side. Now they're going to be wheel to wheel down in towards the right-hander. Who's going to come out on top of this battle? Leclerc a little bit wide. Perez now nearly contact with Leclerc. Perez goes through. Red Bull 1-2. That was a heck of a rhyme right there. We continue on, and Sainz settles in behind Leclerc as well. Fernando Alonso towards the top 5. Hamilton, Russell just behind. As you can see, the rest of this field sorting things out here. And behind myself, my teammate of Tsunoda, side by side with the 77 to Bottas there. So Tsunoda moves up into P12 as we run P11. It wasn't long until Yuki was filling up my rear view mirror. By the end of this lap, here he was all over the back of me. Bottas 1.8 seconds back, so AlphaTauri running away from the cars behind, but we're about to be into I think a bit of a teammate scrap, I guess you could call it here. And here we are going at it again now on the long straightaway. Yuki has DRS, I have DRS. You can see the engine icon, by the way. We do have a couple of worn parts on this car for this Grand Prix, and I decided to keep them on since it was going to be raining all main race. I forgot we had a sprint race, but yeah, I think they should survive, hopefully. But I'm not too concerned about the engine parts that take down my engine speed going into a race that's going to rain the whole time, so I decided we're going to risk it and run the whole Grand Prix weekend with parts that are worn, and then switch over after the summer break going into Zandvoort there for the Dutch Grand Prix. We continue on though, P11, but now Tsunoda with another opportunity to go for an overtake here. The teammate battle continues there. Tsunoda goes through into P11, down to 12th place we go, and we continue on. Here we go with the DRS again, just going back and forth. This is really the only bit of excitement in the sprint race here as we continue on. Red Bull's dominating 1-2 right now, and it looks like the Ferraris have absolutely nothing for them here today. Here we are again, coming to the end of lap 5. Tsunoda to the left side, outbrakes me by a long shot there as we are now going to try and get the switchback on him. He goes a little wide on the apex, in contact with our teammate of Tsunoda. Damage is done to the right side of the front wing there. We continue on down this front straightaway, but the damage is done there as there was some contact. That was unfortunately all on me right there. That wasn't even on Yuki. I just tried to switch him back and throttled up, got a little bit too aggressive, and drove right into the back of him. Yeah, that was all on me. Please apologize to Yuki. You can see Yuki Tsunoda's reaction right there on the right side of the screen. Now that cannot be repeated, as you can see him going past me now into P11, and unfortunately that would kind of set the tone for the last 2 laps of the sprint. So we would lose a massive amount of time to Tsunoda, as expected, with the wing damage now. So Zhou, Bottas, the 2 Alfa Romeos were closing in on me very, very quickly, but we come straight through to the final lap, and fortunately I had just enough straight line speed to hold them off as Max Verstappen wins the sprint. I say hold them off. Hold on. Here comes Zhou Guanyu as we head down towards the left-hander. We're going to be able to stay ahead right there, so that should seal the deal. But we were side by side briefly down towards the final chicane, and a big lunge right there from Zhou caught me completely off guard there. I did play pretty safe there into the corner, but we're going to exit side by side, give him plenty of room. It's not enough from Zhou. We hold on for P12. So overall, even after the damage, we still finish and you know, the same spot where we were when we hit the back of Tsunoda, P12. So I was pretty happy with that. Having that massive gap on them paid off because otherwise, if they were a lot closer, we would have dropped way down the order. We got really lucky. If there was another lap, we would have lost quite a few positions even. So Tsunoda 11th, myself P12, Stroll dead last. Absolutely terrible from the Canadian there. Couldn't do anything in the sprint to lessen the damage going into the Grand Prix. Speaking of the Grand Prix, let's head to the grid for Sunday.
Welcome to this visit to the Ardennes countryside. Spa-Francorchamps hosted its first Grand Prix back in 1925, and this historic track is loved by drivers and fans alike, and us here in the commentary box too. So it's a warm welcome from the Belgian Grand Prix. Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks like for today's race. Max Verstappen put in a fantastic lap yesterday, and he'll start from pole position. And the smooth operator Carlos Sainz completes the front row. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Leclerc, Fernando Alonso, Hamilton, Russell, Norris, Albon, Gasly, Tsunoda, Golden Boy, Perez, Zhou, Oscar Piastri, Bottas, Magnussen, Ocon, Sargent, Hulkenberg, and Lance Stroll brings the grid to a close. With preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track.
Gary, that contact with Yuki yesterday, was there any conversation with him about it?
No. I mean, there was no conversation needed. I made a mistake. There wasn't anything. There was no beef. I wasn't trying to do anything there. I just drove into the back of him like an idiot. Well, there you have it. And you can see the rain falling. It's simple. We're doing intermediate tires the whole race. Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. Let's get ready to roll here for the Belgian Grand Prix.
Right then, the formation lap has started. And I must say, the weather conditions aren't the best today for visibility and for grip. As each driver performs this lap, they'll be wanting to settle in and concentrate, as this race, in these conditions, will require a lot of focus. We're almost ready to start the race as the cars take their positions on the grid, with the drivers and teams making their final preparations.
All right, a heads up here. Perez got a grid penalty. He'll be right with you on the start.
Yeah, 10-4. I won't fight him too hard. I know what the championship situation is there, so I'll make it easy on him. Here we are then, ready to roll off the grid. So we got our teammate of Yuki Tsunoda right there in front of us, and then Perez, the, we'll call it like an affiliated teammate, I guess, there behind us, of course, with the Red Bull. So he got the grid penalty. He's starting a little bit further down the order. We'll see what Lance Stroll can do from 20th place on the grid. Was terrible in qualifying, terrible in the sprint. Will he improve here today? It's fantastic for me to watch his struggles continue, especially after that podium in Britain here. We are ready to go racing now. It's going to be the lights out. We are underway in Spa for the Belgian Grand Prix. Max Verstappen tries to cover off the Ferraris into turn one. I'm going to lunge one up the inside of Gasly. We're going to go briefly 4 wide into turn one. I think better of that there. I might be a rookie, but I'm not that stupid. So we continue to just make a smart decision right there and not go 4 wide into turn one. Up ahead, Verstappen's already well gone in front of the 2 Ferraris there. You can see in the background the Mercedes of Russell. Fernando Alonso as well follows in behind on those inters. Is he going to have an opportunity ready to make a move there on the British driver as we head down the straightaway. Up ahead, it's Sainz in second, Leclerc in third, but they're trying to swap already. Leclerc up the inside of the Spaniard teammate as they continue, but no, Sainz hangs on for now, and he covers him off well. As you can see, Russell, Alonso, Hamilton, Albon as well having a great run. Yuki Tsunoda there in front of myself. Here goes Perez now up the inside. I said I wasn't going to make it too hard on the Mexican who's fighting for the World Drivers' Championship. Perez as well is like a top 5 favorite driver of mine, so of course I'm not going to make it terribly hard for him in his current situation. So I let him go through into P11 and we will settle in. It's just not sensible to try and fight a car that's unbelievably quicker than yours, in my opinion. So we just settled in. I know it's a video game, but I like to have semi-realism here now. As you can see, Oscar Piastri now towards the end of the lap, kind of like Yuki Tsunoda did in the sprint race in the last part of the lap. This is where my engine being worn, bringing down my engine speed a little bit, is paying a bit of a price, but we still have enough speed to fight back, because here we are now on the long straightaway down towards the right left-hander. We're going to be able to make a pass back on Oscar Piastri down into the corner easily. Clear. I do go a little bit deep into the corner, but that's okay. Perez up into the 10th position now after passing Gasly. A great opening couple laps, actually, for Sergio Perez. As yellow flags fly lap 3, that's Gasly right in front of me pulling over to the right side of the circuit. He's going to be done for the Grand Prix. A mechanical failure there for the Frenchman. So we go up into P11 as Perez is scrapping it out with Norris. So we'll wait and see if he can get the position. Not quite yet, but the VSC deployed as that, of course, conditions mixed with mixed with Gasly's failure is going to cause that VSC. There was a pass that Alonso made on Russell right there as well, after Russell had actually locked up. So that puts Alonso up into 4th place. Now we get back racing, lap 3, come to lap 4. Take a look at the track map. Red Bull Racing's Max Verstappen driving away from everybody. They have been on it this weekend. We have seen in weekends where Red Bull win that Ferrari or sometimes Mercedes isn't all that far off, but we're seeing Red Bull just take control this weekend with the 1-2 in the sprint. Perez slicing his way through the grid. He got past Norris, got past Tsunoda, and the battles continue further down the order with myself and Kevin Magnussen now going up my left side. He was actually catching me a bit off guard, but fortunately I was able to defend well enough and stay ahead of him here now as we continue on. Now I got an interesting radio message from Mark as well, and it was about Lando Norris. So Lando Norris actually had a mechanical fault in his McLaren within the next couple of moments of this Grand Prix, and that would, well, make it easy pickings. You're going to see it right here. Lap 9, we are absolutely hauling the mail compared to that McLaren, and I'm not going to waste any time as we head down the straightaway. Tsunoda starting to close in towards me. Thankfully, that's what we like to see. Norris goes defensive. I'm going to send it up the outside here. An aggressive move, but we're going to make it work. If he didn't have a mechanical fault, that was a normal scenario. I probably don't force the issue there, but I knew what the situation was. I didn't want to be stuck behind him any longer. Lap 10 underway at this point. Max Verstappen still out in front and very comfortably compared to Leclerc, who's now moved into second. Sainz in 3rd place. Alonso, Russell, Hamilton, Perez up to P7. He's gotten past Albon, who's having a great day. I'm coming into the pits at the end of lap 10 because look at this. My tire icon actually on. I didn't show it, but Mark did actually ask to change the strategy to pit on lap 10 instead of 11, which was my original pit window, and the change strategy option actually works now with the new update. Yellow flags out of the final turn. Looks like we have an Alfa Romeo spun round, and it looks like it's Zhou Guanyu. We'll get a quick look at that here momentarily, but just a quick look at the pit stop there. Great stop. Get the inters off. Get a new set on here. So let's take a look at Zhou Guanyu. Watch his final turn. He's just going to bottle it. He just throttles up too hard. Around he goes. Simple. And we continue on here now. So for myself, though, I was a bit surprised by the tire wear. So we had only run 11 or 10 complete laps, and my tire icon was already on. So I was a little bit concerned about getting to the end of this race with the tire situation, and tire wear might be an issue for other drivers as well. Verstappen kicks off the pit stops for the leaders. He brings in Leclerc, Alonso all following through, George Russell as well. Sainz would stay out a little bit longer, and even the undercut and intermediates make a big difference. It doesn't matter what tire compound it is, and I would quickly gain some positions here, and we're going to gain even more because my teammate Yuki Tsunoda and others are about to pit at the end of lap 12, and we pass Tsunoda no problem, so we don't even have to pass Yuki on track. And we gain time on Alex Albon. He's now within, reach, I guess you could say. Unfortunately for Tsunoda, however, he is quite a ways behind us now, and he actually lost 2 positions compared to myself. Like, there's 2 cars in between him and I. But now it's time to go through the grid here in Spa.
Leclerc gained a lot of time during the pit stops there, and now is pressuring Max a bit. How long can he do this, you think, Martin?
I reckon he can stick with him, but I don't think he can pass him, to be honest. Only time will tell, however.
How about Sergio Perez? He has had a fantastic drive through the field today after a grid penalty. Now up into 6th place and still time to gain another spot or two.
Hey guys, he has driven a phenomenal race, hasn't he? Red Bull are on it this weekend, more than they have been all season long. Alonso having a good run with Aston Martin as well, while Lance Stroll is down in 16th place.
And expanding on that team, I had a chat this weekend with Lance's dad, Lawrence. He told me he will not hesitate to replace his son if it makes sense to.
And I've been hearing that he had a chat with the Red Bull programme rookie Gary Owen a few weeks back. So we'll have to keep our eyes focused on that. Would you give Owen a chance, Martin?
He's run well, so why not? It looks like Lance is hearing us now, however, as he sizes up a move on Bottas.
Wheel to wheel into the right-hander, Stroll going for 15th place of several Grand Prix winner of Bottas, as it looks like neither of them plan to back down from this.
One of them has to give through Crofty. Who will it be? Lance is trying to make a statement as they continue side by side.
And side by side it is as they head down towards the left-hander. Lance Stroll is going to come out on top of that battle, and up into 15th place he goes as Bottas settles in P16. Sargent, Hulkenberg, and Zhou behind. Zhou just way further behind as after that spin. We continue on into P9 on lap 17 here for our Grand Prix. You heard them chatting quickly about myself and Aston Martin as well being in contact potentially now, so we'll have to wait and see. We know we're going to find out more in the next episode, as there's going to be a whole summer break segment to kick off the next episode, so I hope you guys are looking forward to that. Big moments of the season I kind of want to, represent in the career mode season as well. Lap 23 to go. Look at that. The tire icon has come on again, and I take a look here, and they are at 61%. They are pretty worn on the left side. I mean, all of them are pretty worn. 59 on the rights as well. So not what I want to see, but we only have 2 laps to go. A big moment of oversteer right there, all by myself at this point. 5.7 seconds a gap to the cars behind. Information on Russell. Mark says that Russell's got some form of issue. A radio message coming up now. Russell, he's got a tire puncture, he believes, there now. So Russell coming to the final lap. We talked about it. Tire wear might be an issue. There it is. You can see the right rear is definitely down and flat, and Russell limping it around at this point, and Alex Albon has run into the back of him, and he's gotten damage there. We're coming up on this mess. We're about to gain 2 free positions. Thank you very much, gentlemen. We're going to go past George Russell. Albon has a 5-second time penalty from running into the back of him, but he's also going to come into the pits with the damage. Why wouldn't you just stay out? I don't know, but he's going to come into the box. We're up at a P7, which is going to now suddenly go from P9 to P7 and match our best effort of the season. You see the replay there. I don't know who to blame on that one. Well, Albon did drive right into the back of him, so it's pretty self-explanatory. Max Verstappen, however, is going to come through to win in Spa. The Belgian Grand Prix is his over Charles Leclerc, who's only a few car lengths behind. Sainz, Alonso, Perez with a heck of a drive today from outside of the points in the rain up to 5th place. I myself, however, bringing it home here in what is going to match our career best finish from Australia, which was also a rain race. So the rain seems to benefit us quite hard here as we head to the line. P7 again in Belgium. We will absolutely take that. Thank goodness that was the last lap. I don't know if my tires would have made it, and the guys behind me were running me down with tires that were just a bit fresher than mine. Driver of the day, Esteban Ocon, somehow not Perez. Let's head to the podium.
It was a magnificent race and a drive right out of the top draw to take the win for Red Bull today. Well, Anthony Davidson, a resounding victory today, but what set them apart from the rest?
Well, they clearly have a car that comes alive in the kind of conditions we were dealing with today. It's a very balanced package in the wet, and what that means is that the drivers have confidence to attack, and having that confidence gets you on the power earlier, it lets you brake later, and can put you a long way up the road.
Really was a heck of a Grand Prix right there, to be honest. I mean, at points there was, well, quite literally nothing happening. But then you, of course, had the drama towards the end there with Russell and Max Verstappen on the top step there as he continues to stretch out this championship gap. He is really taking over this World Drivers' Championship and really solidifying himself as, I want to be a third time world champion in a row, back to back to back, and it's starting to look like Perez is just not going to have enough for him. Perez, I'll give him credit. He's held on, I would say, significantly longer than I expected him to. Only in a video game would you see that, and we're now seeing Verstappen, though, just have that edge now as both Ferrari drivers of Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz join him on the podium there as they drink their champagne, and you can see the rest of the finishing order there. So P7, Hamilton down to 6, Tsunoda in the points, actually, because of the drama at the end, so that was great to see. Both AlphaTauris again in the points. Stroll as well actually had a mechanical failure. I don't know how I forgot to show that, but he did have a mechanical failure after making that pass, so that was unfortunate for him. So he ended up second to last. We're 10th in the standings, 22 points, one more point than Stroll. Oh boy, this is an interesting fight between myself and fellow Canadian as we try to maybe steal his ride, and we're beating a car that's way better than us in the standings. That's going to wrap it up. We're headed into the summer break. We'll be back for Zandvoort for the Dutch Grand Prix, and the next one with a summer break segment. I'll see you guys then. Have a great day, everybody.